right, so we're gonna go through this analysis, right? A continuation of what we did last week, and what I want to focus on is break of structure. And so when price has been going up, and then it has a pullback, what we want is when this pullback is terminated, when the break of structure of the pullback is over, how do we enter? So that's what we're going to focus on. Great. And you were looking at April. What day were you looking at?
I was looking at, I started on April 12th and realized that there was no entry on April 12th. So then I said, okay, let me start plotting for April 13th. And then that's where I came to something where it looks like it broke structure, and then I paused it. So okay. I'm like,
okay. So on my chart, here's March 25th that I mentioned in the message, right? And so April 12th is this day here. It's April 12th. So I'm just going to put a marker here so we know this is this day is April 12th. So I'm just going to put a marker there. Okay? So when let's go to a daily chart. Let's start with a daily chart. And here's our April 12th date on a daily chart. So what you should always start with is, what is the very long-term plan, outlook, right? Very long-term. So on this daily, it's showing you it's having some strong upward movement, right? It's in an upward channel. Price is going, making higher highs continuously. That's what you are looking at. And there is no, on April 12th, you're at the high of this trend line.
See, I didn't have that trend line that you have when I drew the chart. So that's like you can see a hindsight, but if you don't have, like, when did you start that trend line?
Okay. So that, if you start on a monthly chart, that's always the easiest to look at the monthly chart. And if we just expand it and we take April 12th, let's take the whole April out of the picture. If this is what you see, right? You come end of March, this is what you see. And you want to make a plan for April forward. So
you'll start at the previous month.
Yeah, when looking at the monthly, right? Whatever date you're at, that's where you start. You don't have to, but because you were looking at April's, that's why I just took April out of the picture, because you were looking at this.
So I did start on a monthly. When I started, I wonder, did I keep what I had on the chart? Because sometimes I end up deleting. I'm not, because it shows up on other tickers when I only wanted it to be on the one that I was plotting it for. So sometimes I end up deleting it.
Yeah.
But when I plotted, I started on a monthly, and what I did was I went through and I looked for areas of value, support and resistance. Where did the stock reach the top at? And how many touches, and I marked areas where I had the most touches at for resistance at the top, as well as the same for the bottom for support, the most touches. After I done that, I came over to the weekly, and I was checking out the structure. After I checked out the structure, then that's when I was thinking okay, let's go down to our daily. Not sure what I did when I went down to the daily, but then on to the hourly, start planning to take the trade.
Okay.
Looking at it.
I think so. So far everything you've done is good. Here's one thing I want to add to that. A lot of times, many new traders especially look at only horizontal support and resistance, and you neglect the trend line. Because the trend line is what price keeps in the channel. If it's just horizontal, then there's no price movement, right? It's in a tight range. But when you have a trend line, then you know price is going up and up and up. So that's why drawing that trend line for me is more reliable than just a support and resistance.
Okay.
So if you start with that trend line, so looking at what I'm looking at right here, when you look at that trend line, you see, okay, every time it touches this trend line on a closed basis, this is where it bounces, right? So that's what you look at on the monthly. And then you go down to the weekly and say, is that trend line still valid? You see the most touches it has is still valid. Don't try to adjust it, just as long as you have a few touches. It's just to get a general direction of the market. Then you move to that, and then when you go to the daily, you see it clearly now. Okay, price was there. When it touches the top one, it doesn't go through straight away. It kind of plays around, and then once in a while it gives you a good pullback. And when you have a pullback that touches the trend line, that's your strongest. The reason why that is your strongest is the distance for your stop loss between entry and stop loss is $12.15 move, for example, in this case, just looking at the daily. But if you were to enter way up here, your stop loss is $30, right? So that's why you want to enter as low as possible.
That is true.
And so on April 12th, you are at the high. You are not at the low.
Gotcha.
I think if I read your message correctly, what I read in your message is you wanted to day trade it, but looking at it as a swing trade in the setup, right? You have to decouple how you look at them. If you're looking at swing, only look at it from, am I at an area of value based on trend line, right? So this area is here.
I think that is one of the issues I struggle with, because even though I started at the monthly, I guess that the fact that I didn't quite have everything, I was looking at to see the direction that it was going, which was up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I see what you're saying in regards to, but keeping in mind that if we're trading in the live, like in real time,
Yeah.
That data is not, hindsight is not there.
Yeah, but you don't need hindsight, right? Because what you need is, you have this trend line. You've already identified it. Because even on April, so I will do this for you to show you how easy this is. I will replay to this date. That's all we see. Right? This is all we see. This is April 9th.
That is true.
So when on your April 9th, this trend line is still there, right?
That's true.
It's not a new trend line. It is still there. So what you want to do is, when price comes here, you want to enter. When price comes here, you want to enter.
Gotcha.
You don't want to enter here.
Right. That makes sense. That makes sense.
You don't want to enter there. So this is what you're waiting for. And don't force a trade. If you're analyzing it, this morning it's here, tomorrow it's here, like on this date, right? It's here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It doesn't give you an opportunity. It's okay. You don't have to trade those 4 weeks. You wait for it to give you this opportunity.
You wait for it to give. Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Even when you were just counting, it was like a very small pullback, but the pullback should be noticeable enough is what I'm looking at.
So this pullback here was significant, right? Because it didn't come all the way down here, but it was significant. What you can do is once you've identified, okay, here's my trend,
Mm-hmm.
here's my area of value. If price comes down here, I'm entering. If price comes up here, I'm exiting.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will get a put position, but usually in a strong uptrend, I don't like to counter trend, right? It's because some days you feel like, oh, it's gonna bounce, but it doesn't, right? It just stays up there. It just keeps going.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
So only enter in the direction of the trend. Don't fight the trend.
Sure.
Now for this pullback, if we turn then to hourly, and I remove my drawing.
That's the other thing that confuses me too. Like, how are you able to find where you were just at? Because when you change the time frame, it just looks so different.
Well, just look at the date down below.
Oh, okay.
And then that will remind you where you are.
Okay.
Right? And so here's our trend line.
Mm-hmm.
I'll zoom out later. Here's our trend line.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a big pullback here, right? This is a pullback, and you want to see, can I enter here? Do I have to wait until it touches here?
Mm-hmm.
And so for us, as a reminder, let's just put a marker here,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And move to the left until we find our mark. So here's our mark.
Oh, there it is. Mm-hmm.
Right? And so price went up here, follow the trend line. It gave you a pullback.
Here.
And now I want to continue the move up. Do I have a break of structure entry? So break of structure on the hourly. So what does that look like? So you have a high.
Mm-hmm.
You have a low.
Mm-hmm.
A lower low.
Mm-hmm.
A lower high.
Hi. Mm-hmm.
And then another lower low.
Mm-hmm.
Now you formed a high. Now at this point you have no idea, right? Because it could do this.
That's correct.
You have no idea, so you don't take action.
Mm-hmm.
This day here, it is telling you it has formed a higher low.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because it broke through and gapped up, it is telling you it's formed a higher low. Not only that, this day here took out this high.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have a clear break of structure.
Oh, so here's my question to you
Okay.
then. So which candle am I looking to break? Because I thought it was from the first candle that you put. I thought we had to break that first candle in order to get a break of structure.
No, it's not a candle that breaks a structure. It's a series of candles that break structure.
A series of candles.
Yes.
Okay,
So-
I wasn't looking at that right.
Yeah, so what you're focusing on is this set here.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing in relation to this low, in relation to this higher low that was formed, in relation to this high? What is this set doing? So this set now has given you not only a higher low, it has also given you a higher high.
I guess as I'm listening, because I do understand, I guess I'm not, if I had to practice it and identify which candle should be taken out which, I think that's where my issue will come in at. Because I was, you just showed me something else that I was not thinking.
Yeah, don't think of it as a single candle. It's not a single candle because this is an hourly chart. Somebody could be looking at a 2-hour chart. Somebody could be looking at a 15-minute chart. So it's not the one candle that breaks structure. It's the whole structure that gets broken.
That is true.
Yeah.
I do understand it. I guess I don't understand where does the structure need to occur at, because I thought it would occur at the top when you first created that first the last one that you just deleted. I thought it would have started at the top of that candle.
Okay, so so you have this high, right? When
What about the previous high behind that?
Here?
Do I take that as, not that one, but the other one up top?
here,
Yes.
so this is far out yet, right? First we have the last high we have is either this or if you consider this gap, one of these two is the last high that you have to first negotiate. right? So that's when the break of structure happens. So if we were to draw just a simple break of structure, price makes a series of lower lows, right? A series of lower lows and a series of lower highs. Your first sign of break of structure is when you make a new higher low. So you have a low here, you have a higher low here, and you have a higher high here. Why you have this higher high? Because you break this high. So as soon as you have a higher low and a higher high, your structure is broken.
Oh, just okay. Let me write that formula down.
Yeah. And I'm recording this video so you can go back to it.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So break of structure to the upside is a higher low followed by a higher high.
Gotcha.
As soon as you have that, you have broken structure. So as soon as you're done writing your note, I will come back and show you on the actual charts where that has happened.
Sounds good. Okay.
Okay. So if we have this concept down, when price drove here, so let's write here, we have a high here,
That's true.
we have a low here. Now if you say this, because of this gap, I want to consider this a lower high, that's acceptable, or you can ignore it. Either way, I'll show you how you can take a look at both of those. So if you have a high, lower low, the first time you have a higher low is right here. Right? You have a higher low. Because price just kept going up, it didn't make a new low.
Right, which took out that lower high, right?
No. So here's a low.
No.
Here's a low.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha.
This is a higher low.
Gotcha. Okay, because we're going back to the upside.
Yeah.
The initial pattern that you were showing me was the down to the downside. The high, the lower high, and the low.
So this pattern here is this line here.
Okay.
So here's the low. This low is right here. This higher low is right here.
Got it.
Now where is this higher high? This higher high would be when you break this high, which you have broken it here. Not just one candle, but this whole series of candles are above. They have closed above it, not just a wick, but there's a close above this high. So
the body itself.
Yes.
So what if the body doesn't close, but the wick with it closes above?
Yeah, for me, I don't really consider that. It could do this. Price could do this, reverse and continue. I would consider it because it has formed a higher low. But if price doesn't continue to the upside and it just keeps going down, then that was not really a break of structure.
That's true. At least not to the upside, right?
Yep. Yeah. So what you want is, as soon as these highs are broken, right here, you have a break of structure. Okay? Is that making sense?
It is. I think the whole entire concept makes sense. It's just for me is when it's time to plot it. That's the most important part. Like identifying. Okay, what am I looking for next? Which candles to label as the ones that are considered like you started at the top. Well, that's a downtrend, so I can see that I made a high, then I made a lower high and the low. I can see that clearly. I think my confusion comes in that is like identifying which candles am I looking to take out certain candles that show. But I guess if I can pinpoint it from the downside, then I should be able to pinpoint it from the upside, because whatever the lower high is, I'm looking to take it out with the higher low.
So let's forget about candles for a minute.
Okay.
Because what this could be, there's no candle here. You still have the same concept. So that's why. Sorry?
I was thinking, I thought the lines were a little bit better, easier, but then I was told if you use the lines, then you won't really be able to see where price action is or something like that. But
yeah, so you won't be able to see the price action because the line just represents only the close price. Mm-hmm. But here's for you to understand concept. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Here's a high.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Right? You can clearly see this is a high.
That's true.
Here's a low.
That's true.
Here's a lower low.
Mm-hmm. That is true.
Here is a lower high. Right?
Now you put it at the point of that where it made that point. That will be your. I understand that.
Yeah. So it's always the point, right? The highest point it reaches is the high, not the middle. It's the highest point.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right? So, so here's the high, the low, a lower high, a lower low.
Got it.
So what is this right here?
That is a lower high, right? Or a higher low.
A higher low. Right? There's a higher low. So you know already that we are no longer making a new low. We're starting to reverse from that new low.
That's good.
What is this?
A higher high.
A higher high. Absolutely. So now, as soon as you break this new higher high, structure is broken.
Yep, and it's broken at the next point, right?
Yes, broken as at this point right here, and this is your entry to take it to the upside.
Oh, so the moment you make the higher high is your entry.
The moment you close higher, right?
The moment you close higher.
Yes, because if you look at what's important is understanding each candle, right? And that's why I say don't worry about when it's which candle do I have to break. That's not the idea. The idea is as a structure, this point here, whichever bar is the highest is your high, whichever bar is the lowest is your low.
That's true.
And here, when you make a new low, this you can clearly see it's a higher low.
That is correct.
It's a higher low. You can clearly see it.
That is true. And
you can clearly see this is a higher high. Right? Higher high from where you come from.
From where you come from, sir.
You don't, not from here. Not from all the way to the top. Is where you're starting, right? You're starting to make new highs, new lows.
That's true.
And you're starting to move up. So that's the structure you want to break. And so this candle, it closes above this line. If a candle closes above this line, which this purple candle does, you have broken structure. Right? Now, the tricky part about this one is you have not formed the lower high yet. That's why when we first started, I said your entry is really here. Because if the reason why your entry is here is because even though you have you have a new higher high here. You have not formed a lower high or a higher low. You have not formed a higher low until a couple of bars later. Right?
So okay, if I could be honest, that part I do see so I'm able to identify starting at the high and then going down to the low. I can see that, and then I get in between that a lower high, starting from with the structure we're dealing with. Now going up to the upside, I do see the low there. Now I guess my next higher high would be that third candle from the low. So let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, no, not that one, but that one. Yep.
This one here?
Nope, the other one.
This one here?
Yeah, my lower high. Or my higher low. My higher low.
No. So don't look at it from candle to candle.
Okay.
Look at it as a set. What high are you breaking here? Not the second bar. You want to look at... Okay, let's do this drawing. Oops, sorry. Let's do this guy here. What you want to see is where is price doing this? Where is price swinging? Where is price swinging?
Okay.
It is at the swing points that you consider highs and lows. The swing points. The swing points. Not in the middle of the. This is one swing here. So you're not counting break of structure from bar to bar to bar.
Gotcha.
So where in this particular instance,
That was good.
you have a swing, reverse, a swing, reverse. So these are the areas.
That's true.
These are the areas you want to look at for your swing. These are your areas.
Wow, that's just so much clearer.
Is that making sense?
Now I think, yes, because with this, I can, now that I'm looking at the series of the candles, I'm able to say that first top, so let's go back to the very first arrow that you put.
Let me erase everything and then you show me here.
Okay, so if we go to that red candle, go up, go over, all the way up at the top. That's our high. Not that one. But is that the?
That's the high.
That is the high.
Yeah. So
okay,
this point here is your high.
Got it. So then, if that would be my H there, my H would go there.
So okay, so that would be your first H. Okay.
Then my low would be at this purple yes.
Okay.
Low.
Okay.
So if I go back in the middle, the lower high would be this long wick over here. No, to the that's going up, right?
So lower high, right? You have a high, you have a lower high.
Oh, see, I didn't see it that way.
Why?
Because I thought I was supposed to go on like a diagonal line going down and then up, then down.
No. Remember, this swing. It's the swing.
Swing.
So so once you form this high, you come to this low. Where did the price go to before it turned?
Where did the price go to before it turned? It went to a lower high.
It went right here, right? It went right here. So that becomes...
That's like a higher low, right?
No. A lower high. It's not a low, it's a high. The low is at the bottom, high is at the top.
Right. So it's not a higher low?
A higher low means a low, right?
Oh, a higher low means it's down.
It's a lower high.
Okay, lower high means it's going up.
The second letter is what tells you are you on the top side or the bottom side.
Okay.
So you have a high.
Letter tells you at the top. Okay, let me write that down. This letter. Got it. Okay, perfect. That was good to know.
So you have a high, you have a lower high.
Yes.
Or a higher high. So from the high perspective, this is how you look at it. Or you have a low, you have a lower low, or a higher low.
Got it.
Okay. So if this was your high, this was your low, then this was your lower high. What is this point?
The low. A lower low.
A lower, because we already have a low here. This is a lower low, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
And now we're reversing and going back the other way, I guess.
So what is this point here?
Second letter tells me. So the second letter. So that is oh my god. Higher low?
No, it's not the low we're talking about. It's the top side. It's the high.
Yes. So it's the. I thought we already got a LH, a lower high.
But we can keep doing that, right?
Oh, okay. So then we're creating another lower high.
Beautiful. We're creating another lower high because it's lower than this, it's lower than this, it's lower than this.
That is correct.
So now, if price were to do this, there is no break of structure, it's just a continuation.
That is true.
But price failed to do this. Price instead, it created a higher high. So instead of this becoming a lower high, it becomes your higher high.
Gotcha.
Your higher high, not really your higher high, you become your new high.
Or your new high.
Right? Your new high, and now you have the structure broken to the other side.
So in order for you to look for break of structures, it needs to have this formula. It needs to start it with the high, create a low, create a lower high, lower low, lower high, and then a new high to break the structure.
Yeah, so to break the structure, we have this structure here. If we consider this structure here, right here, where we have a high. So let's erase everything, right? So now that we have talked about that, and I also want to erase this squiggly line here. I don't know if it will let me erase.
Maybe a backspace button.
Right here. Okay, so if we agree, this is a high, right? This is a high. Just remove this guy. And then, is this? Can we agree this is a lower high?
That is correct.
Because it's a new high, but it's lower than this high, right? Price went down. It went all the way down here. Tried to make a high, it failed. It continued, right? So we can agree there.
Yes.
And then can we agree this is a low? Just looking at, we're just focusing at this area here. Okay. So we have a high, we have a lower high, we have a low. What is this point right now?
We're now
just looking at this. The H is not there. I'm just gonna type over it. But what do you think this is right now?
We're now creating a higher low. Lower high. The lower high, I'm going to say lower high because it's the second letter.
Yes. Now, we're actually, from this, we're making a lower high, yes. But from this, because the last one you have to look at, we are making, actually, a higher high. Why? Because we are breaking, let me get a line for you here. We are breaking this high. So we look at the immediate left turning point first. So because we broke this high, this is a higher high.
Okay.
The lower low or the higher low that you want to refer to is right here. Why is this a higher low? Because it is higher than this low.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right? So price did this, reversed, and then did this. So this turning point is higher than this turning point. Therefore, it's a higher low. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I didn't recognize that little small candle is what gave you the higher low.
Yeah, because price, sometimes it does this, it gives you a good pullback, but sometimes it does this, it just does a small pullback and continue. But this turning point is still a low, right? And in relation to this low, it is a higher low. So where you break structure is once you form a higher high and a higher low, the next area that breaks the new higher high you made, once you break that area, you have broken structure.
And you enter in on the next candle.
Yeah, so this candle here that goes above here, you can enter right at the open because it gapped up and gave you that opportunity. Now,
so
yeah.
So you'll know, like, let's say if we're on, like, I guess an hourly, and it's looking like it's gonna close above, you will know to get ready. For your trying to figure that out.
So I think it's a good question. And how do you know it's ready? You've already identified it's a higher high, higher low. You already know this bar here, the high of this bar is 377.34. So if you get price to go above 377.34, you're entering. You're already prepared on February 1st. On February 2nd, it opened way above that. That's your entry price right there.
Got it.
Because you've broken structure and you're confident in your analysis.
Got it.
And this gives you quite a good distance in 1, 2, 3, in 4 days. This in an option contract, this could be the difference between a winning trade and a 100% trade.
My question is, when you're taking these so swing trades, how do you decide how long you want to get that contract for?
Usually when I swing them, I like to have at least 2 weeks of contract price, and so if 2 weeks is too pricey, then I cut down on my contract size and I don't compromise on the 2 weeks.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now that we've gone through these, what I want to do with you is I want to identify another area where you tell me when structure is broken.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So here's where we are. We are on November 2nd. How do you prepare for an entry? So where do you want me to start?
Okay, so that purple candle that has the wick on both ends. Okay, because I don't know where November. So that's no October 20th looks like where your
Yeah, October 23rd is where my cursor is at.
Okay, so where are we starting at, on October 23rd or on November?
It's up to you. You tell me. This is your trade. You're gonna tell me what to mark.
Okay, perfect. Let's start on October 20th. Is that the purple candle? If so, that's not that one. The other one.
This
nope,
one. This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 23rd.
Okay, the 23rd.
Okay.
So I'll start on the 23rd. That is considered my first high.
Okay. That's your high.
Now I do identify my low. I think that's on the 28th.
Okay, so hold on. Let's just make it visible. And I want to change the color so we can really see it.
Oh, I think I can identify. Okay, so I'm going to go and identify my lower high, I believe, before I get to my low. It will be the second candle down. It's not that one. That one.
No, it's not a candle. It's the turning point. It's the turning point.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with my low because I can see that one clearly, and I think it's the one that's on the 28th.
Right here or right here?
Yes, there. Low. That's my low.
Right here?
Mm-hmm.
How about right here?
Yeah, because that's lower than... Should that be lower low, though?
No.
No.
Where did price go to before it turned?
It went low.
No, this is the last bar before you see an uptick, right?
Okay.
It's not at this bar.
It's not at that bar.
Did price do this after this bar?
No.
So your low then is the turning point. Remember, you're looking at the swings, the swing points, not the middle of the swing point.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So I think in your head you're still thinking each bar I have to decide on each bar. Don't decide on each bar. Decide at the last bar that either makes a high or makes a low.
Okay.
Okay, so you have your high, you have your low. And so I'm missing more stuff. So do you have, what are you missing?
So we're missing the lower high.
Yes, where is that one?
Which is higher than this low. So it's going to be, I believe, that's not the purple one, but the one next to it maybe.
Here?
Yes.
So these two are about equal, so I wouldn't worry about which one, but okay.
Okay. Okay, got that one. So now I need to go find my higher low. Higher low. Which is lower than the previous, right? No. Let me just go through it 1 second. I gotta get a higher low than that one.
You don't have to get a higher low. You just have to tell me on this chart what you see. Don't force things. What do you see on this chart? Let's just mark what you see.
Oh, I see it going back down.
Right here?
Creating another low.
So that would be lower low?
Yeah. So this, right, because it's lower than that previous.
It's lower than the previous.
Okay, now I'm starting. Okay, practice, and remember what you're doing. Okay, so now we gotta make a...
We don't have to make anything. We just mark what we see.
We just mark what we see. Okay.
Yes.
So we made that lower, because that's lower. That's lower. So now we're going to make a lower high, which is this purple candle.
Here?
No. The next. Oh,
here?
That one, yes. Because it's higher than that lower low. That's what I was thinking.
No.
Where
did price go to before it turned? After it did this, it did not stop here, right? It pulled back. Isn't this your turning point?
That is the turning point. It looks like
turning point. Not every bar. Look at turning points. Turning
I guess I
points.
can't recognize the turning points with the candles. I guess that's what
Why?
I'm struggling with.
The next candles are going in the opposite direction. That's your turning point.
If they go in the opposite direction, that's your turning point.
Yeah. Right?
Okay.
So price came down.
Okay, price did come down, so it went down and created.
And then it did not start going in the opposite direction until it formed this bottom, right? So that's why you can say this is your turning point, not this candle's low. It's this area here that you decide now. So you're telling me this is a higher low, correct?
Yeah.
Because it is higher than this one.
That is correct.
It is higher than this one. It's a higher low. Okay. What do you want to call this area? Because the reason why I asked that is price went there and it reversed. So this is a turning point.
That is true.
So we have to identify the turning point.
Yeah. So because that is a higher low, it's higher than that one. Could it be just a high?
In relation to this.
Oh,
in
relation to that.
In relation to this. Everything to your left.
Everything to your left. Got it. Oh, maybe a lower low?
Lower high, maybe?
Lower high.
It's not the low we're talking about, it's the high side, right? It's the top side we're looking about. That's the high is your top side, the low is your bottom side. So your top side cannot be a lower low or a higher low. It cannot have the word low at the second word from the top, right?
At the top.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So, a couple of things that I will suggest to add. We have a low here because price came down and reversed. So we have a low here.
Yes.
Price came down, reversed, and then reversed again. So we have a lower high here.
Yeah.
Every turning point, if you identify them, it becomes easier to see the break of structure.
Okay. I also had a question. Is it possible that I can change the sticks into the lines and then go back and change it to sticks and then it already be marked? It'll still be marked? Yeah. It looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that because that way I can easily see the turning points.
Okay. So we can leave it as a line. If that's your preference, let's leave it as a line. Okay?
Alright.
So you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, you have a lower low.
What about this turning point right here that we didn't mark?
Which one?
Isn't that well, it's just a dip, look like. We see where the arrow is pointing upward.
Right here?
Right there. Yeah.
So because it was a line, it did look like it was a dip, but it wasn't. You see how this turning is really a good distance? This one is just a small tick, so I mean, you can mark it, but I don't really think it was a turning point.
Okay, gotcha.
This one is like deep. You can see the real turning point. You can see real turning points,
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're close to identifying, right? So now the next step is how do you find an entry once you have made this markings? What you see here is once you make a higher low, you are preparing to break structure. You're preparing. It's not there yet. You're preparing. And so you see this last lower high you've marked, this one here. As soon as price breaks that, That's your break of structure.
Right, because it's going to create a higher high, right?
Yep. Instead of continuing to make high, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, now you want to see both a higher low and a higher high. When both happen after a downturn, you've broken structure.
You want to see a higher low and a higher high. Once
Yes.
you see both of those, you broken structure.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's becoming clearer.
Okay.
So basically, the key thing is identifying and marking out those higher highs, low, lower high, higher lows, and higher highs to be able to identify that structure as being is in preparation to break. If you've got a higher low into a higher high,
Yep.
It's critical to identify that so that you know when to, I guess, enter and exit, and you exit, of course, when you get into the high.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's just again the marking off now. So I think I'm gonna do it on lines until I get really comfortable with it, and then once I'm able to easily identify, and again, it's about a turning point. So I do recognize that it's not necessarily about a candle, like each individual candle. Is about the structure within the candle setup.
Yes.
So I do get that part. It's just being able to go in and recognize, okay, this set of candles there, this is what it's doing, and where is the next set going? Did it go up or down again? And of course, another key thing that you told me is that anytime the direction is at the top, it cannot be a lower anything. It has to be it cannot be the last letter, cannot be a lower anything.
Yeah.
It's going to be a higher something.
Yeah.
And it's going to be in relation to the candle to the left of you.
Yeah.
All right.
And so you do this on a computer, right? Not on your phone.
No, on the computer started. Oh, I'm not that advanced. Totally not.
Okay. No, it's very hard to do it on the phone. It's nothing to do with being advanced, so don't beat yourself up on that. It's very hard to do it on the phone. So let me give you a homework.
Okay, perfect.
Your homework, should you choose to accept, is to take the SPY chart and go to, I'll give you a date to go to.
Okay.
Starting in September of 2020.
Okay.
Go to your hourly chart starting September 2020. And on the computer with, in Thinkorswim, you have a text box that you can add. Mark every high, low, higher, high, higher, low, lower, high, higher, low, lower, low. Mark all of them as much as you can. Take a screenshot and send it to me. And then we will have a conversation. Here's what, I see in addition to what you've done, or fantastic, you're ready for the next step.
Okay, that sounds great. So just so I'm clear for my homework instructions, I'm going to start on the month of September in 2020. Will I identify the monthly, going through the monthly, the weekly, the daily, all the way down to the hourly?
No, just take the hourly chart.
Okay.
Only take hourly chart. The only thing we're looking at is marking the high and lows. So high, lower high, higher high, low, lower low, higher low. Those are the only things you'll be marking.
Got it.
So when you start from high to low and you have terminated that, the next set is a new high to low. The next set is a new high to low.
Got it.
Yeah. So if you look here at this example, this is your high here where I have my mouse. This is your absolute low for this run. So when you come back here, it's another high, right? You don't have to worry about in relation to this anymore. You're making a new high, going down here, making a new low. and then when you get up here, you start the cycle again. So just keep marking them as many as you can, and if you get confused halfway through, you can stop there, take a screenshot, and then we can have a conversation.
Okay, thank you so much. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll get this video again too, so I can go over it, right?
Yeah. As soon as I post it, I'll send you the link.
Perfect.
All right.
I think it was pretty helpful. It's just really about practicing and, again, looking to your left. And then there was some really key things that you said. I am so grateful and just honored to have this opportunity for you to take time out your schedule to assist me. But I do believe you said some key things that's going to allow me to go in and mark those levels and begin to see progress.
Yeah. So let's not rush, right? It's not about rushing. It's about getting it right.
That is true.
And the money will take care of itself. The market is not going anywhere. So,
that is true.
Step by step, once it clicks and you say, wow, see, like, I can just take a look here, like what you're seeing on my screen. I don't have to look and start marking anything. I have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low. I'm breaking this high, break of structure. I'm making a new higher low. I'm entering right here for long position. Right? This is how fast you can do it once it clicks.
I hear that.
Yeah. So don't worry about it being bar by bar. Just worry about it like where are real significant turning points.
Got it. Okay. I think I can handle that.
All right.
I'm excited. I totally appreciate you. I pray that God bless you abundantly.
Thank you
for extending yourself to me. Just truly genuine. You are truly an example of what Christ talks about, how we're supposed to be with one another. And I'm just so grateful.
I'm very honored you said that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
All right.
So I'll get right to it. I promise you this will not be a waste of time. This is good. Your seed is falling on good soil.
Oh, very good. I'm happy to see that. Take care.
All right, you too. God bless you.
God bless you.
All right, bye.
Bye.